Jesus is the promised Messiah. He's the promised Redeemer, both of which are important. We're going to drill down into the redemption thing later. But what Peter Stoner in his book Science Speaks dealt with the issue of mathematically calculating how likely is it that some of these prophecies could even be fulfilled. And I guess, when you come away from this, it's rather improbable, maybe impossible. So when you look at that, how do you feel
I think
about that?
one thing I think that we should make clear is what's the difference between a prophecy and a prediction? Because we heard a prediction just earlier today that it may rain somewhere within the next 48 hours. But how is that different from a prophecy?
Okay.
So thinking about that, prophecies are very specific about very specific things, and often with very specific times. I think that makes a difference between a very broad prophecy. And then one thing I think we also have to think about, and that's what Stoner's pointing out, is that they're cumulative. It's not just making a prediction that somebody's going to be born in Bethlehem. There's lots of people born in Bethlehem, but when we add all these up, it becomes incredibly improbable that it couldn't be anybody other than Jesus.
That's right. So there's ways of doing that in the whole science of probabilities.
Right.
And so from a scientific standpoint, and that's why the title of the book is Science Speaks, that it's scientifically impossible that one man could have fulfilled, 48 prophecies. He first does the 8, and that's extremely unlikely. And then 48, and now we're dealing on magnitudes of order.
Right.
Unlikely.
Yeah.
Yeah. I when he in this 48 prophecies, he says, and this is their calculation, that the chance of one man fulfilling those is equal to the chance of 1 in 10 to the 157th power. And that's equivalent to a 1 with 157 zeros behind it.
Right.
That's the
Scientifically
chance.
impossible. I mean, it's impossible for that to just happen by chance.
Right.
Yeah.
And I've looked at this a couple of times because you figure, well, we're learning more about the universe and what's the totality of the matter out there, right? And secular sources, this isn't coming from Christians or anything. They're saying that, well, there's 1 in 10 to the 90th power of particles,
right,
in the known universe.
Yeah.
So if you subtract that, then according to Stoner's calculations, the chance of one man fulfilling these 48 prophecies is like finding one particle in 67 universes.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
Which is
absolutely impossible.
Right.
Yeah.
I guess that begs the question: when do you determine that something's improbable or versus impossible? When does something that's improbable become impossible, meaning it cannot occur in nature?
Right. Well, and thinking about the way that the scientific notation works, we think of like the lottery or something like that. It's you have a chance, maybe 1 or more in so many million or even so many billion. And in situations like that, somebody's going to win because you bought a ticket or whatever. But as you get higher and higher, it becomes what would be considered impossible, and so that someone would match all of those attributes.
Right. So as we go through, then we look at how it's impossible that one man could have done this, but there's another side of the coin, and that is that it's impossible that any person, any man could have fulfilled these.
Right.
That the prophecies themselves set up an impossible situation.
Unless there's a conspiracy. Right?
Right.
Because if I know where that one particle is, if I've got it in my pocket, and then someone tells me to find it, I can find it. So if somebody knows ahead of time where it is, then it's an easy solution.
There you go.
Yeah.
Very
So
good.
Jesus, it was a setup.
It was a setup. There you go.
Yeah. Yeah.
So when you look at it objectively, it's impossible. But when you look at it from God's standpoint, being outside of time and space,
Yeah.
he knew.
Yeah.
And